Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Trey, and today I'm going to be talking about how science is subordinate to religion. And no, I'm not a Christian or a Muslim or a Jewish person or a Buddhist or anything like that here trying to convince you that my religion is the best. Nor am I a theist who's trying to convince you that atheism fails or anything like that. I'm actually coming at this from a purely philosophical perspective. Now, this video could also be titled Why the Objective is Subordinate to the Subjective, or Why Rationality is Subordinate to Values. However you want to look at it, it's really the same topic. So let's just get right into this. So a lot of people think of rationality as sort of the new religion of the modern age, right? Religion is just a bunch of bullshit beliefs that people made up thousands of years ago when they didn't know shit. And now we have this thing called rationality, which is like this amazing thing that human beings discovered, that we can actually think clearly and not delude ourselves and come to logical conclusions about things, right? Well, not quite. Because, you see, rationality itself is actually nested in religion, or nested in values, right? Religion is kind of a loose term here. But let's use the word values, right? So let's say that, for example, I have the option of wearing a red shirt or a blue shirt. You might think, well, let's say I asked you, what is the rational decision, red or blue? You might say, well, it's not really a rational question now, Trey. This is a subjective question. Do you prefer red or blue? Or are you trying to impress somebody, or what's the deal here? But now let's say we live in a society where wearing red gets you instantly put into jail, arrested and put into jail. Now, we might say the rational thing is to wear the blue, right? But that requires us to put value on certain things. We value staying out of jail, and we devalue going to jail. And so the rational thing to do is the path to whatever the path is to not going to jail. And wearing the blue shirt is the path to not going to jail. But you see, what's rational can easily change at any point. For example, maybe my brother's in jail and I want to go to jail because I want to be with him. I'm going to break him out. Well, now if my goal is to go to jail, if I put value on going to jail and I devalue staying out of jail, now the rational thing to do is to wear the red shirt. So what's rational is completely dependent on the goal, or what our values are. And our values are dependent on our value system. And I challenge you to do this exercise. Try to think of any sort of rational scenario, any instance where you can use rationality, and you'll find that it's completely dependent on having a goal or having a value. And again, values come from value systems, and that is, a value system is essentially another word for a religion. Okay, before we figured out science or any of these sophisticated things, we just had to figure out what is it that we value, because human beings value quite a few things. We value survival and reproduction at our core, but we value other things. We value friends and family and things, and these things are of course, and food and shelter and a lot of different specific things, right? Of course, these things are all tied up and are sort of extensions of survival and reproduction, but they're still separate things that we value. And so it's not surprising that religions that pop up across the world all have a lot of the same values, because this is what human beings value. And so what is rational is what gets us what we value, what gets us from not having what we value to getting to the point where we have what we value. And without a value system, there is no, rationality is essentially like water, right? If you put into a certain bucket with a certain shape, it conforms to that shape. And that shape is the value system. And the water is the rationality. But if you have no bucket, no container to put the water in, it's just this formless sort of mush. It doesn't have any shape, but it has infinite potential. So hopefully you got something out of this video. Hopefully you kind of are starting to realize that maybe even the things that you think are rational aren't really rational, but they are just based on your own biases about what you value. Now, that's a whole nother video. Maybe I'll make that video later. But this video is mainly just about how you really have to have values before you can even begin. You have to have some sort of moral system that you live by, this way of being, in order to even use rationality in the first place.